Hello, we're here with Christina Bennett, Head of Communications at Priceline.
Hi.
And she's going to be on a panel about GEO and PRROI and about brands measuring influence. So we're going to chat with her a little bit about that today. Traditional PR metrics, born in a click-based world, which is very Priceline.
Yeah.
But now AI is answering questions for people without sending users anywhere. So how are you defining PR ROI at Priceline today?
Yeah, it's a really interesting time because the travel industry is so historically a performance marketing engine. And so for comms in particular, I love this moment because it's really giving us a chance to shine and have real metrics behind what we do, especially as you're seeing the bulk of LLM citations are coming from editorial and in some cases owned as well, which many comms professionals manage. So the way I'm looking at it is it's still really early days, but I view it as a reputation engine. So it's looking at where do we want to be? How are we already being picked, naturally crawled by the LLMs? Like asking it the same questions consumers might ask about you and what's coming up? Like what do we need to debunk? And how are we fixing that? So that's one way I'm looking at it, is how are we crafting the right narrative or correcting any mistakes? And then in terms of like hard metrics, we are working with a company called Profound. I know many people are using them as well. And there's an editorial citation percentage. We don't have enough data. We're only a couple months into it. But we're going to start benchmarking that month over month and looking at it, with specific prompts for campaigns to see, are we moving the needle? Are we growing the share that our team is driving directly?
Mm-hmm. I love that reputation engine phrase, because I don't feel like enough companies are doing that and auditing where they are in AI and search and what's coming up for them. So I think that's really interesting that you guys are paying attention to that. And I think everybody should be paying attention to that.
Yeah, and actually, you did not ask this, but I recently did this while I was stuck in traffic coming back from LaGuardia. But also, ask it to assess your PR strategy, because it's really interesting what it will say, what it thinks you're doing and why, based on where you show up in earned media. So it aligned with a lot of what we were doing, but there were some things I was really surprised that the LLMs perceived we were doing based on where we naturally show up in coverage.
That's a great tip. I haven't heard of people doing that. So it's common sense, but
it's amazing, being bored is apparently the traffic, the way to discover new things on LLMs.
That's right. That's awesome. Priceline, you guys are somewhat already experienced with AI. You have an AI travel advisor called Penny.
Penny, yes.
And you have some, Gen AI type tools on the site. Does that influence how you guys are thinking about being cited by external AI and how you're appearing on search?
Yeah, no, it's really amazing, because one of my favorite things about the company is that we are a long-standing early adopter of new tech. So I remember being in Silicon Valley in June 2023, announcing Penny, actually at a Google event. And so we have been experimenting, and now we've expanded partnerships with all of the big LLMs to power Penny, which is our consumer-facing chatbot, but also have deployed a lot of different technologies internal for productivity, for testing, coding. I use them. My favorite thing is to create executive briefing books, which everyone knows can be a real slog.
Yeah.
And to find different citations. And so it definitely is a big corporate priority. And so with Penny, obviously we're using our own data, we're using it to source deals, so naturally the way the consumers would, and it has definitely inspired the whole company to be more agile and trying it. And so in terms of how we're cited, I think there are two things, or really three things. It's how we're delivering our messages to the consumer to help them find the right trip at the right price. There is how, we want to show up in the LLMs. And there's also how we're articulating our AI thought leadership strategy as a public company in corporate comms.
Well, I'm going to have to try Penny for my next trip, because I'm really curious.
Yeah, ask Penny to find you a deal. And my favorite hack is to ask Penny, like if you already have an itinerary, put it in and ask Penny, am I missing any hidden gems?
Oh.
And Penny has sent me some places I never would have thought of going.
All right. So you got more tips, not just for PR, but for travel
Yeah.
planning.
Yeah.
Many comms leaders are, they're just learning stuff. So they're saying it's hard for them to measure ROI with their AI search efforts. What can Priceline actually track right now, in the PR department, and what are you guys still figuring out?
So like I said, it's really early days. It's really early days for all of us. Like, I'm lucky that I work in a very AI forward company, so we have many tools, and we're still experimenting. Like I said, we're looking at editorial share of voice. Our performance marketing team is using it. So right now we are, doing a lot of test and learning, a lot of A/B testing. So I couldn't give you like, this is the secret sauce or this is the right thing to do. But, for me, it's primarily looking at, are we showing up in the right places, using it to define like, who are our new targets? Who are the high authority outlets that will surface in the LLMs? Because that changes our whole pitch strategy in a way that, you were focused on clicks and headlines before. Now you need your comm strategy to be designed around synthesis and LLMs being able to really articulately, explain, your brand or your campaign or whatever you're doing.
Yeah, I'm curious, of the content on your website, what seems to be showing up the most in LLMs?
There's a lot about our deals proposition because that's so much of who we are. And then, it's always funny to see the FAQs on Penny. One of the most popular things that always comes up is, can I bring my pet? So all the pandemic puppies are going on their trips. And so it's just a variety of things. People have such diverse interests. So that's what we're seeing come through.
Cool. And last question, what do you think is the GEO challenge that a lot of communicators are underestimating in the industry right now?
Yeah, I don't know if they're underestimating, but the one that stresses me out is the fact that we're moving towards more and more LLMs not using citations. So that gets to that synthesis layer. Mm-hmm. So your reputation and your content needs to be strong enough that it's bubbling up and it is so omnipresent that the LLMs are going to include you at all. It's not even just about the high authority outlets. It's your overall, internet ecosystem presence is authoritative enough that the LLMs are going to, include you in their responses, in their summaries.
That's interesting. And it's also, that's important for branding and reputation. And we're so used to hopping on Google and, these companies show up when you're searching for something. But if that's not happening in the citations, then that's a little scary.
Yeah, and so that's where you're starting to see a few places have fewer and fewer citations. We'll see what happens. I mean, every day it changes. I mean, 6 months ago,
it's true.
I mean, a year ago we wouldn't have had this conversation. 6 months ago we were just tiptoeing into it. So it to me it's really fun. I mean, it's a challenge. It's a whole new work stream for our team, but it's really interesting to learn about.
Great. Well, thank you, Christina, for your time.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Looking forward to checking out Penny.
Thank you.